Ever wondered what truly drives the economy behind the scenes? From trade wars to the power of branding, the mechanisms that govern our prosperity and inflation can be both enlightening and surprising. Join us as we peel back the layers of naked economics and discover how understanding these forces can empower you in today's complex world. Welcome to Naked Economics, unraveling the forces shaping our world. In this engaging audiobook, we dive deep into the intricate workings of economies, unraveling the critical factors that influence national and international financial health. Written by Charles Whelan, a seasoned economist and thought leader, this audiobook will provide you with an accessible yet profound understanding of economic principles that impact your everyday life. Whether you're curious about why some countries thrive while others struggle or how trade can be a lifeline for economic stability, this audiobook is your gateway to understanding the world of economics like never before. Focus points. Trade as a country's fast track. Explore how trade agreements and international partnerships can stimulate growth and innovation. Why you are not a Bill Gates. Understand the forces that shape individual success and the role of opportunity in the economic landscape. When greed can be a vice and a virtue. Analyze the dual nature of greed and its implications for businesses and economies. A Game of Thrones in the 21st century. Investigate the competitive dynamics among global powers and their impact on the economy. How branding can stop racism. Discover the power of branding in promoting social change and fostering inclusivity. Human capital, novices, and professionals. Learn about the importance of workforce development and the role of education in economic success. What kills the economy? Identify the key factors that lead to economic decline and how to combat them. It's all about currency. Delve into the role of currency in trade and its influence on global markets. Battling poverty with trade. Understand how trade initiatives can provide sustainable solutions to poverty around the world. Learning outcomes. By the end of this audiobook, you will gain a clear understanding of the fundamental principles of economics. Recognize the significance of trade and its impact on national prosperity. Develop insights into the socioeconomic factors influencing success and inequality. Learn strategies for advocating positive economic change within your community. Understand the interconnections between branding, social justice, and economic health. Be equipped with the knowledge to navigate the complexities of the global economy. Focus point 1. Trade as a country's fast track. Understanding economics is crucial for grasping how different economies operate and develop. Each country's economic condition directly influences its progress and overall developmental status. Without a solid grasp of economic principles, we would overlook the significance of trade and the role that self-interest plays in driving prosperity. Human beings are inherently motivated by self-interest, and this trait is not necessarily negative. While it can lead to conflicts and unethical behavior, it is also a fundamental aspect of our nature that has propelled us towards civilization and innovation. Our desire for improvement fuels creativity and productivity, driving societal progress. At the heart of any thriving economy lies trade. Trade allows individuals and nations to exchange resources, goods, and services, fulfilling their needs and desires. Recognizing the importance of trade is one thing. Understanding how to engage in it effectively is quite another. Many developing countries struggle with this aspect, lacking the knowledge and skills required to participate in global markets. In contrast, nations that have mastered the art of trade not only understand their value but also successfully establish strong brands on the international stage. Economics provides insight into the interplay between self-interest, ambition, and trade, highlighting their critical roles in economic growth. Without a foundational understanding of economics, we would be unable to navigate the complexities of trade or appreciate its significance. In Naked Economics, Charles Whelan distills essential economic concepts and supports them with a wealth of global examples, illuminating how trade operates and why it matters. Are you ready to explore the intricate relationship between trade and economic development? Let's embark on this enlightening journey. Focus point 2. Why you are not a Bill Gates. In today's marketplace, there is no singular authority dictating which products retailers should stock, as was common in ancient times. Instead, retailers respond to consumer demand, prompting manufacturers to create products that align with market needs. This market-driven approach should serve as a guiding principle for the economies of emerging nations. The economy is fundamentally about maximizing the potential of human life, while economics is the analytical study of how we achieve that potential. Many coveted resources such as oil, pristine water, and even physical fitness are often perceived as limited editions. The ability to produce goods and services and engage in trade creates disparities between the wealthy and the less fortunate, whether at the level of individuals, organizations, or nations. You may find yourself pondering, why does Bill Gates have a private jet while I don't? The answer is straightforward: he possesses wealth that you do not. But what accounts for this difference? Economics operates on a basic principle. Individuals strive to enhance their wealth. It is widely accepted that people seek to maximize their utility, essentially their personal satisfaction, because doing so is beneficial to them. This principle is at the core of the wealth gap between you and Bill Gates. Economists take a neutral stance regarding what constitutes happiness. They recognize that each individual has unique preferences and choices that shape their lives. Gates enjoys greater wealth because society places a higher value on his contributions than on yours. Should public interest shift and start to appreciate your contributions, you might find yourself in a position to afford luxuries like a private jet as well. Wealth accumulation often occurs at the intersection of passion and skill. If your interests align with your talents, there's potential for you to generate wealth. The ethics surrounding certain practices can vary significantly based on geographic and economic contexts. For instance, deforestation may be viewed as detrimental in developed countries, but in developing nations it can represent a means of survival. This illustrates that while economic principles may be universal, the factors influencing them can differ markedly across regions. Economists generally agree that striving to improve one's life is beneficial for any economy, as it fosters creativity and innovation. However, what constitutes improvement is subjective and varies based on individual sources of joy and fulfillment. For Bill Gates, his passion for technology has contributed significantly to societal advancement. Take the story of Osceola McCarthy, who lived a modest life in a sparsely furnished home, with a black-and-white TV that offered only one channel. Her exceptional legacy was not rooted in material wealth but in her remarkable act of generosity. 4 years before her passing, she donated $150,000 to the University of Southern Mississippi, a school she had never attended, to establish a scholarship for students in need. Her joy came not from spending on herself but from giving to others, demonstrating that wealth can also be defined by the positive impact one has on the lives of others. Focus point 3. When greed can be a vice and a virtue. The black rhinoceros stands as one of the most critically endangered species in the world, with its population dwindling from approximately 65,000 in 1970 to around 5,000 today. This dramatic decline can be traced back to the lucrative black market for rhino horns, which can sell for as much as $30,000 each, attracting poachers seeking quick profits. Economists suggest that if the conservation of rhinos were managed like a private business, the species would likely fare much better. A business owner would have a vested interest in ensuring the survival of the rhinos, as their continued existence would be necessary for generating profit. This might include breeding programs to maintain supply, even if some rhinos were sold to trophy hunters. In contrast, the lack of a stewardship model for these animals means they often fall victim to indifference. Local communities living near rhino habitats frequently see little benefit from their presence. In fact, large animals like rhinos can damage crops and pose threats to children, creating a disincentive for locals to protect them. To remedy this situation, authorities must develop a robust conservation strategy that aligns with the interests of the local populace. Providing tangible benefits and compelling reasons for residents to protect the rhinos is essential. People are often motivated to support a cause they believe in, but they are even more inclined to act when there are financial incentives involved. Poor policies frequently overlook these incentives or fail to consider how rational actors might respond. A sound economy requires well-informed and effective policies that acknowledge the realities of human behavior. Unfortunately, governments often lack the knowledge necessary to craft good policies. As Gordon Gekko famously stated in the film Wall Street, "Greed is good. While greed can drive innovation and economic growth, it can also lead to harmful outcomes when individuals pursue their self-interest without regard for the broader implications." Recognizing that greed and selfishness are inherent aspects of human nature is crucial. People will act in their own interests, even if such actions may lead to negative consequences in the long term. Economics provides insights into how we can harness good incentives and acknowledge that selfishness is a constant in human behavior. It is our responsibility to channel that self-interest towards greater societal good, ensuring that the pursuit of personal gain can also lead to positive outcomes for the community and the environment. By understanding these dynamics, we can work towards a more sustainable and ethical approach to conservation and economic growth. Focus point 4. A Game of Thrones in the 21st Century. If governments were truly adept at driving economic success, nations with heavy government involvement such as North Korea, Oman, and Cuba would rank among the world's top economies. However, the reality is quite the opposite, demonstrating that while governments excel in certain areas, they can also undermine economic growth through overregulation and mismanagement. In fact, excessive government intervention can lead to the collapse of an economy, hindering innovation and growth. Significant national transformations often begin with small grassroots changes initiated by citizens. This underscores the importance of fostering private organizations, which can spur creativity and competition. However, the rise of monopolies poses a considerable risk in this landscape. When a single entity dominates a market, it stifles innovation and diminishes the incentive to respond to consumer needs. This is why neither the government nor private organizations should be allowed to monopolize the economy. There must be a balance of power. Take, for example, the process of obtaining a driving license, which is typically managed by government motor licensing organizations. Since individuals have no alternative source for this essential service, employees at these agencies may become complacent, often exhibiting rude or condescending behavior without fear of losing customers. Conversely, private organizations needing to attract clients to remain profitable are likely to provide better service. However, the flip side is that they may also be more prone to issuing licenses to unqualified individuals. A viable solution lies in collaboration between government agencies and private organizations, allowing for a more balanced approach to service delivery. As Charles Whelan aptly states, a market economy is to economics what democracy is to government. A decent, if flawed, choice among many bad alternatives. In this analogy, the government serves as a surgical instrument, a powerful tool that can either facilitate healing or cause injury. When wielded with wisdom and restraint, government can effectively support and enhance economic vitality. However, when misapplied or mismanaged, it has the potential to inflict significant harm on the very systems it aims to support. In essence, navigating the complexities of the 21st century economy is akin to a modern-day Game of Thrones, where various forces compete for power and influence. The challenge lies in finding the right balance between government intervention and private enterprise, ensuring that both can work together to create an environment conducive to innovation, growth, and the overall well-being of society. Focus point 5. How branding can stop racism. In competitive markets, the more informed party tends to prevail, highlighting a crucial truth. Ignorance can have detrimental consequences. Organizations lacking awareness and understanding often struggle to survive in the marketplace. Economics teaches us about the importance of gathering information, the motivations behind it, how to utilize it effectively, and the decision-making processes that stem from this acquired knowledge. In the United States, the Convicted Felon Registry is publicly accessible, allowing employers to check applicants against criminal records to identify ex-felons. However, this system has disproportionately affected Black men, who are often unfairly perceived as dangerous due to statistical representations of ex-felon demographics. Surprisingly, despite the availability of this information, many employers do not take the initiative to verify criminal backgrounds for Black male applicants. Instead, they rely on social and racial stereotypes, leading them to assume that a Black man is likely to have a criminal record. Research by economists has indicated a positive shift. Employers who actively screen for criminal histories are more likely to hire African American workers, particularly men. This trend is especially noticeable among those employers who have reservations about hiring individuals with criminal backgrounds. The pervasive lack of accurate information continues to impede opportunities for Black men, perpetuating a cycle of discrimination that can only be disrupted through concerted advocacy and awareness. This pressing need for accurate information underscores the vital role of branding in our economy. branding becomes essential when the quality of a product isn't immediately evident. It provides consumers with the necessary context to make informed purchasing decisions, allowing them to trust products even when they lack first-hand knowledge of their quality. For instance, a customer choosing to buy Nike sneakers does so with the confidence that they are investing in a product known for its excellence. Effective branding creates a framework for understanding products and services, particularly in environments where the quality is not instantly recognizable. It not only helps consumers make decisions but also builds trust and credibility within the market. For economies to thrive, they must embrace branding as a tool for disseminating information. Many countries successfully bolster their export markets by cultivating strong branding for their goods. In a world where over 700 million people live on less than $2.15 per day, as reported by the World Bank, the importance of branding extends beyond commercial success. It can foster greater understanding and reduce racial bias by countering stereotypes with well-informed perceptions. By emphasizing the value of branding, we can not only improve market dynamics but also work towards dismantling systemic racism and creating a more equitable society. Focus point 6. Human capital, novices and professionals. Human capital encompasses the array of skills and knowledge that individuals possess, ranging from education, intelligence and charisma to creativity, work experience and entrepreneurial spirit. It represents the essence of who we are and what we can achieve, serving as the ultimate asset we retain when material possessions are stripped away. In a market economy, the value of a skill is often determined not by its inherent societal worth but by its rarity. Professionals who have honed their human capital to an expert level are valued for the unique services they provide. For instance, athletes like Stephen Curry command higher salaries not simply because they are skilled but because their level of mastery is rare and difficult to replicate. This scarcity of talent drives their market value. As Charles Whelan aptly stated, economics is like gravity. Ignore it and you will be in for some rude surprises. This principle applies to human capital as well. Investing in our skills and knowledge opens doors to opportunities, enhances our financial well-being and contributes to our overall quality of life. When we invest in our human capital, we create pathways for job creation and provide more employment avenues for others. The most prudent investment one can make is in oneself. For example, Stephen Curry's athletic prowess requires ongoing support. He hires a personal fitness coach to maintain his edge. This coach may then employ an assistant to manage their workload, and they may need to consult with architects and builders to create an optimal training environment. This interconnected network illustrates how human capital generates further opportunities and fosters economic growth. Importantly, human capital is a key differentiator between the wealthy and the impoverished. By heavily investing in our skills and education, we can reap substantial dividends, both personally and professionally. However, it's essential to recognize that every role contributes to the ecosystem of growth. While an architect may not lay bricks, the work of bricklayers is vital to bringing their designs to life. Even as technology advances and machinery replaces certain jobs, skilled workers are still needed to assemble, operate, and maintain these machines. Thus, every individual, regardless of their role or income level, plays a critical part in the broader economy. In summary, investing in human capital is not only a personal endeavor but also a communal responsibility. By recognizing the value of every individual's contribution, we can foster a more equitable and prosperous society that uplifts all its members. Focus point 7. What kills the economy? Economists highlight that in the sphere of interest group politics, smaller, organized factions often hold the advantage. These groups can more effectively advocate for their interests, as the benefits they secure are distributed across a larger, often disorganized population. This dynamic underscores the importance of small-scale businesses, which, in a supportive environment, can generate sufficient profits to contribute positively to government revenues. In countries like the United States, where the agricultural population is relatively small, farmers benefit from substantial government subsidies. This creates a system where political favor is often skewed towards smaller interest groups. Conversely, in nations such as China and India, where farmers constitute a significant portion of the population, they must sell their produce at prices lower than market rates to keep food affordable for urban residents. Here, the larger urban population effectively subsidizes the smaller group of farmers, revealing the complexities of economic distribution and political power. Small-scale businesses are essential to the economy, yet their challenges often go unnoticed until broader economic conditions deteriorate. A case in point is inflation, which can wreak havoc on economic stability. When inflation spikes, individuals rush to spend their earnings, fearing the diminishing value of their money. Employees may find themselves using their salaries by midday, anticipating rising prices by evening. This urgent spending behavior disrupts normal economic activity and can lead to a lack of confidence in currency stability. Furthermore, inflation complicates the lending landscape. Fixed-rate loans become scarce, as lenders are hesitant to accept repayments in money that may quickly lose value. Even moderate levels of inflation can erode wealth if not managed properly, as cash held by individuals gradually declines in purchasing power. The intricacies of monetary policy are critical in navigating these challenges. When executed adeptly, monetary policy can stimulate economic growth and provide a buffer against potential shocks. However, if mismanaged, it can result in severe hardship for individuals and businesses alike. In summary, understanding the dynamics of interest groups, inflation, and monetary policy is vital in recognizing what can undermine economic stability. By paying attention to the needs of small businesses and ensuring effective monetary management, societies can work towards fostering a more resilient economy that benefits all stakeholders. Focus point 8. It's all about currency. International economics ideally should reflect the principles of domestic economics, yet significant disparities often exist. National borders should function primarily as political delineations rather than economic barriers. The essence of international trade is that it should enhance the welfare of all parties involved. Otherwise, it becomes a mere exercise in inefficiency, squandering valuable time and resources. Consider the example of purchasing a car. You decide to buy a vehicle based on your belief that it is a quality product at a fair price. In this transaction, both you and the manufacturer engage in an exchange of values that is satisfactory to each party. Your investment in the car is met with the manufacturer's profit. This symbiotic relationship is the fundamental principle of trade, whether domestic or international. Despite the advantages of international trade, exchange rates can significantly complicate these transactions. The exchange rate determines how one country's currency is converted into another's, influencing the perceived value of goods and services. For instance, a Japanese yen has value because it can be exchanged for goods and services, just as a US dollar holds value for the same reason. Ideally, $1 should convert to an equivalent amount of yen that would purchase a similar quantity of goods in Japan. To illustrate, if a particular good costs $30 in the United States but costs 750 cedis in Ghana, one might expect that $30 would equate to 750 cedis based on purchasing power. However, if the exchange rate doesn't align, meaning that the good is cheaper in dollars than in cedis, an enterprising individual can buy the product in dollars and sell it in cedis for a profit. This concept of purchasing power parity primarily applies to goods, leaving services such as hairstyling less easily tradable across currencies. Ultimately, the prosperity of our economies hinges on sound financial practices and effective currency exchange. A robust global economy fosters cooperation among nations. While exchange rates may not need to be equivalent, they must facilitate beneficial transactions for both parties involved. For instance, many countries experiencing exchange rate deficits can still thrive due to lower living costs. In Mumbai, for example, a meal may cost significantly less than in Canada. Even with a stronger Canadian dollar, a Mumbai resident can enjoy a more satisfying meal for just 10 rupees compared to a Canadian's $10. While achieving stable exchange rates may be challenging, encouraging international trade remains crucial. Trade enables all parties to reap satisfactory benefits, which can lead to mutual prosperity. Developed nations, in particular, should be open to purchasing goods from developing countries, thereby fostering economic growth and collaboration on a global scale. Focus point 9. Battling poverty with trade. Imagine a machine capable of transforming a piece of cloth into a $10 bill or a basket of avocados into 200 yen. Such an invention would be revolutionary, especially for developing nations. This machine would enable them to convert their agricultural products, low-cost textiles, and basic manufactured goods into essential commodities, food, medical supplies, and technology that are typically out of reach. Countries with access to this metaphorical machine could experience accelerated growth compared to those without it, making trade an indispensable tool for lifting millions out of poverty. Trade serves as the mechanism through which we exchange goods for money, food for technology, and produce for cash. Its benefits to an economy are profound, including wealth enhancement. Trade is foundational to economic theory and one of the least demanding avenues for achieving prosperity. It unlocks productivity, which is vital for growth, and fosters specialization, allowing individuals and nations to excel in their strengths. Cost reduction. Trade reduces consumer costs, effectively increasing purchasing power. It creates a competitive environment where both buyers and sellers can find satisfaction, leading to a more equitable market. Access for developing countries. Trade opens doors for developing nations to access markets in the developed world, allowing them to obtain resources and opportunities that might otherwise be unavailable. Wealth accumulation. Export-oriented industries in developing countries often offer wages that are higher than those found in other sectors, creating pathways for wealth generation and economic improvement. A thriving economy benefits all citizens, not just a select few. One significant barrier to alleviating widespread poverty is the insufficient commitment from wealthier nations to transform the current global economic landscape. Achieving a balanced world economy requires developed countries to actively support their developing counterparts. This is a moment where cooperation should transcend self-interest, focusing on mutual growth and shared prosperity. By embracing trade, we can combat poverty and pave the way for a more equitable global economy, where every individual has the opportunity to thrive. Conclusion. The economic status of a country distinguishes developing nations from underdeveloped and developed ones. A robust economy determines a nation's position in the global arena and its bargaining power. Most developed countries grasp the complexities of economics. They understand how, where, and when to trade effectively. While achieving the status of a developed nation may not be feasible for every country, we can work towards bridging the gap between the rich and the poor by mastering the principles of trade economics. Recognizing the critical roles of both government and the private sector is essential for sustaining a healthy economy. Additionally, we must remain vigilant against the dangers of monopolies and the potentially devastating impacts of rampant inflation. A completely government-controlled economy can lead to significant failures. Therefore, fostering a collaborative relationship between the government and the private sector is vital for economic success. If we unite as nations with a shared goal of eradicating poverty, we can effectively narrow the divide between the affluent and the impoverished through trade. Identify market needs. If you have a business idea, analyze current trends and customer needs. Consider how your product or service can enhance the lives of potential customers, making them better, easier, or more interesting. Prioritize quality. Resist the temptation to compromise on quality for the sake of profit. Many of the world's most successful brands are renowned for their commitment to excellence. Leverage digital platforms. Build your brand presence through social media and other available resources to connect with a broader audience and enhance your market reach. In this audiobook, we explored the multifaceted nature of economics, focusing on how it shapes societies and impacts individual lives. Here are the key points we covered. Human capital. Understanding the significance of skills, education, and experience in personal and economic growth. The role of trade. How trade serves as a catalyst for wealth generation and poverty alleviation, particularly in developing countries. Currency and exchange rates. The complexities of international trade and how exchange rates affect economic interactions. Challenges of inflation. The detrimental effects of inflation on economies and the importance of sound monetary policy. Government and private sector. The necessity for collaboration between government initiatives and private enterprise to sustain a healthy economy. Recommendations. Invest in yourself. Prioritize your own education and skills development, as human capital is a crucial asset. Engage in trade. Explore opportunities for trade that can enhance your economic situation, whether through local markets or international commerce. Monitor inflation. Stay informed about economic indicators and advocate for sound monetary policies in your community. Promote collaboration. Encourage partnerships between public and private sectors to foster economic growth in your region. This journey through naked economics has illuminated the critical concepts that govern our world. Understanding these principles is essential for anyone looking to navigate the complexities of the modern economy. The topics discussed not only enhance our economic literacy but also empower us to make informed decisions that can positively impact our lives and communities. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this audiobook. Your interest in these vital topics is appreciated. If you found this content valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Remember, as you engage with this material, you are not only enriching your understanding of economics but also improving your English language skills. The more you listen, the better you speak. Your continued engagement is key to both your personal growth and our shared learning community.